Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Warnith and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast, the go-to show for pet entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and pet lovers who want to build thriving brands in the pet space. I'm your host Warnith, and every episode we dive into the stories, strategies, and secrets behind some of the most successful pet brands in the world. So joining us today is Marcy Lambert, the founder of Marcy's Pet Kitchen. What started as a homemade treat for a beloved pet, Barkley, quickly grew into a full fledged brand known for its vegan, allergen free, and superfood packed pet treats. So, in this episode, we will explore Marcy's journey, how she went from making treats in the kitchen to scaling a recognized pet brand, the challenges she faced, and like what makes a product stand out in the crowded market. Plus, we will discuss the future of pet nutrition and what's next for Marcy's Pet Kitchen. So, whether you're a pet business owner, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just a pet parent who wants the best for their furry friend, you don't want to miss this podcast. Marcy, thank you so much for being a part of Pet Brand Podcast.
Thank you for having me on here. It's a pleasure
Amazing.
to meet you
Amazing,
again.
amazing. So yeah, let's get started from the beginning. Every successful brand has an original story, and yours is particularly inspiring. So can you share the story behind Marcy's Pet Kitchen, like what inspired you to start this
Sure.
brand? Yeah,
Sure. So, like a lot of us, we're so busy running around, we're working, we may have kids, there's just so much going on. But, like,
yeah,
I'm sure it's crossed people's minds, like, what could I be feeding my dog that's better?
yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I wish I could do homemade cookies. Right? No one has time for that. And so, my two previous dogs, Max and Munson, were labs and they passed away of cancer. And then we adopted our
Okay.
Barkley, which is a silver lab who
Mm-hmm.
also has like sensitive tummy, allergies, and everything I was feeding him. It was like back to square one again, trying to find out why he's itchy, why he has ear infections,
Mm-hmm.
and all that sort. So that's where it stemmed from. I really wanted to provide a truly wholesome treat that was affordable that people can rely on for super sensitive stomachs, even major allergies like hyperallergenics, restricted diets, and even diabetic dogs because they're low glycemic. So it was kind of a really great all around treat that had great benefits.
Mm-hmm. And before launching Marcy's Pet Kitchens, you had a life and career outside of the pet industry, right? Like,
Yes.
so
So
what was your like background and did you always had this entrepreneurial mindset?
yeah, my parents are both entrepreneurs, so that I kind
Uh-huh.
of got that bug. But I was a creative director in my former
Wow.
life over 15 years. I'm probably giving away my age a little bit, but I used to work in New York City for a long time, and I worked in advertising, I worked in television, I did,
Wow.
fun voiceovers and stuff
Wow.
like that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it seemed like a drastic change, but when you have a passion for what you do and you're led by and inspired by something that nobody's really tackled to your
Mhm.
satisfaction, you got to give it your best. So that's where it
Mhm.
all started. So I had a little bit of a cheat sheet with the branding
Yeah,
aspect of
yeah.
things.
Uh-huh. And the marketing experience that you have, right? So it must have helped you to prove that.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how much I probably saved. I couldn't even put a guesstimate on it. Between doing my own copywriting,
Yeah.
logos, the branding colors, and
Yeah.
all research went into it. And of course, with my background, I was able to pick
Mhm.
what would be
Mhm.
suitable for my brand because I wanted it approachable, fun, yet educational.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. And
Thank
starting a
you.
business is definitely never easy, right? So there's
No.
always there's always
My
some,
husband now makes dinners for us at night because I don't have time. So he's a good guy.
like there's always ups and downs. There's always roadblocks along the way. So like what do you
Yeah.
think like what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you were starting Marcy's Pet Kitchen, like, and how
I
did you
have to
overcome them?
say. I would have to say, like a lot of us, when we get to a certain point, we need
Mm.
financial backing because we can't grow anymore. It's just
Yeah.
you,
Mm.
right? So there
Mm.
are, of course, always challenges, and I've had to pivot and this and that. But I think one of the hardest was getting to the point where I outgrew the hand baking myself, and I had
Wow.
an extruder, and then I couldn't even keep up with that. And it was it's not about finding the people to just to back you financially. They need to know what they're doing,
Mm.
because I mean, you can have all the money in the
They
world, but
need
if
to
no one's
believe in the
guiding
vision. So.
you, it's for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's how I started that. And that's one of the major pivots. There was also pivoting along the way, like as you learn about packaging and other ways that you can package your product. Let's just say, as an example, I went from the food grade craft bags, right? That's where I
Mm-hmm.
first started. Now we have the recyclable plastic. So that's another really great thing. But again, these are like moments where you pivot, you learn, you
Yeah.
try to be very strategic with your moves, but we all learn, we all mess up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the
I,
errors cost like $2,000. So
yeah.
you don't want to even think about it. Right.
And what do you think, like, what was the most rewarding part of your entrepreneurial journey so far?
I think just knowing personally from inside me that I didn't give up. And
Mm-hmm.
there were times where, like many of us, there's blood, sweat, and tears, and you're just crying, like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. There's so much work. But then you see it in your mind that it's going to be
Yeah.
successful, and you really have a passion you want to bring this product to people that don't know about you yet, and it fuels you inside, and you just keep
Mm-hmm.
going. And then I remember the day that we
Mm-hmm.
went into manufacturing and the delivery came, I practically cried because I didn't have to do it anymore. It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Very big deal, yeah.
It's about having a vision, right? When you have a long-term vision, because
Yeah.
some people start a business, they have just short-term goals. So when they just reach the goal, then you're like, what's next, right? But when you have a
Yes.
vision, when you have a long-term vision, then you're willing to play the long game.
Yes. And it's very rewarding, like you said, but there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into, I will not lie. Like I have to say, like I have carpal tunnel in both my arms that go up to like my elbow area. If I
Wow.
utilize my hands too much, like in a baking
Wow.
motions, they'll start
Mm.
hurting. So it's kind of like, it's just as my brother likes to call them, they're warrior wounds. So from just giving it your all.
Wow.
Hmm.
Hmm. And when it comes to pet treats, formulation is everything. Ingredients, nutrition, and taste all matters. So, how did you decide on your product formulation? Did you work with veterinarians or like pet nutritionists for this?
So I did a lot of research. I did
Mm,
reach out to veterinarians and nutritionists.
mm,
They were extremely helpful, but also instinctually, I knew that, for instance, diabetic dogs have to have complex carbs. They cannot have like a white base sugar kind of carb because those sugars will release too fast into their bodies and cause spikes, kind of like adults, right? Same sort of thing. And again, if we don't exercise or we don't eat right, just like dogs, then
mm,
we're going to have
mm.
problems with our health. So having treats that were, again, very nutritionally beneficial was huge because I
Mm.
don't see a lot of oat flour being used, oat bran. I don't see a lot of, well, now superfoods are starting to come around, but prior when I was doing it, people weren't using dandelion root, which is nature's pre and probiotic. So, and it's great for sensitive tummies. So I had all these little challenges like diabetic dogs,
Mm.
hypoallergenic. Let me streamline a very clean treat that's very beneficial and low glycemic that will cater to these dogs. Because I personally think one of the trends, I know the trends right now are functional treats that
Mm.
are specific for maybe like the bully breed or
Mm.
even like schnauzers, I'm just saying. But I truly think it's very important to be able to
Mm.
like have treats that work for everyone and people can get more out of it. I think that
Yeah.
people are going to want more benefits to the things that they're spending a little more money on that they buy. So in this case, we're not only low calorie for weight
Mm.
issues. we're low in sugar. We omit all top allergens. We are made
Mm-hmm.
in the United States and sourced in the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of great benefits and make you feel good about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And what do you think, like, do you think that somebody else is also doing this in the market, in the pet industry, something exactly what you are doing?
I'm sure there's a lot of ideas that overlap with other people. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
we're humans. We have these great like imaginations and drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, that is very possible, but it's who can bring it to market, who can withstand it long enough, the pain
Mm-hmm.
and the happiness and all the
Mm-hmm.
emotions in between, and to
Mm-hmm.
brand it to get it to market. And I was dead set on doing that.
Mm-hmm. Basically, who can market the USP better in the pet industry?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm I'm just so happy with these treats, and it's like I want to share them with everybody. I mean, they're so nutritious. They're complex carbs. We have like the veggie ones, which are peas and carrots. Like I said, we had the peanut ones, which are always a good standby.
Mm-hmm.
These were the veggie. And then
Yeah,
the pumpkin is fantastic as well.
amazing.
So,
Mm-hmm. And many pet brands start with one product and then they expand as they grow. So
correct.
have you considered expanding beyond treats, like into other pet products?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I can't go into it too much, but the
Yeah.
goal is to make it more of a lifestyle brand. So eventually
Mm,
I would love to have, merchandise in there that's high quality,
mm.
that helps the pet parent and their day to day, whether it's a customized bed, right? That's like
Okay.
phenomenal. A friend of mine invented these amazing beds, and
Mm.
I would love to have her, selling on ours eventually, but that's way down the line.
Yeah, yeah.
My focus right now is to, again, be educational and be approachable so people don't feel threatened by information. They like welcome it,
Yeah,
right? They have a
yeah.
question. I want it to be more of a big community
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
lovers, not just,
Hmm.
dog lovers, of course. I'm all for anything animals.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love all things
Yeah.
animals.
And also, like, if you are just all about selling, right? People just pick that up. Okay, this person just
Yeah,
wants me to
no, no,
sell
you
products,
have
right?
to. You're right. You have to have this passion behind you or sincerity or like good intentions. No one intends, I would like to think, to hurt people. No one intends to, you know what I mean? I'd like to think that. So, everyone that has a goal, that has a mission, that wants to get their product out or their service out is going to do what it takes to connect with the consumers
Mm,
so they can
mm,
then get product delivered to them.
mm.
Hmm.
Talking more about the marketing and branding side of things, spreading awareness in a crowded market requires strategic marketing. So if somebody is listening to the podcast and they have a pet brand, they want to, scale. So like, what do you think, like, what marketing strategies has worked the best for you, that you think that can also work for other pet brands in this
Well,
specific
I have to
niche?
say, consistency, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're inconsistent putting out your message, your brand is not going to
Yeah.
be as recognizable. And it takes six
Mm-hmm.
months to a year just to get your brand recognizable. Never mind that people even trusting you yet. It's just, seeing it on repetition. And, another big thing that's hugely important that I think people miss the boat sometimes in any industry is connecting their brand with their mission statement and their vision. Because if there's a disconnect between what you're putting out there and what you truly believe, people are going to know. You know what I mean? It's very easy to tell. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're not sure what the brand is, right? And do you even want to trust it if you're not sure? So for me, coming up, obviously, that was the first thing I did, the mission statement and the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I connected all that together with what I wanted the brand to be perceived as. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, I kind of married them together, but consistency over and over. Picking your color palette, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, it's silly, right? But colors
Mm-hmm.
are everything. They
Definitely, yeah.
reveal trust, or they reveal, money or what have
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's really important. And even working with different cultures as well, if you do in your industry, it's very important to do that too, because you have respect for other people's cultures too. So one color to you may mean something, but to somebody else, it may mean something different. So you just have to be very aware.
Mm-hmm. Basically, like understanding your target market, right? And then creating the
Yeah.
marketing strategy based on that.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
And what
it is, I'm sorry, go on.
no, no, please, you go ahead.
No, I'm
You
just
are the
saying
guest.
it is a daunting task, especially doing it yourself. As a creative, I can tell you, and any person knows doing your own stuff, no matter if you're creative or not, is truly difficult.
Hmm.
So I would suggest that people reach out to creatives that they know can kind of weave it all together because it's
Hmm.
great if you can chat GPT and it's great if you can refine your message, but someone that knows what they're doing to weave it in together will
Hmm.
produce beautiful brand for you. So knowing where your financially your money has to go, I truly am a big proponent of using strategically the right creatives to tackle your
Hmm.
messaging.
Definitely.
You
And
only
since you
get, you
have,
only get, Mhm.
please go ahead.
I'm always so bad chatty. I was just going to say you have one time to make an impression. That's all I wanted to say. So you don't
Yeah,
want to mess up.
yeah, definitely.
The
And since
floor
you
is yours.
you are the guest, you are the guest here. I
Oh,
was
it's
saying,
okay.
like, since you have the marketing experience, right? So,
Mhm.
like, what industry have you worked in before this? Like, specifically, like, this is pet industry, right? So, specifically, like, in
Sure.
which industry you were creating creatives and all.
So I've worked in logistics industry before. I've
Mm.
worked in banking. And when I say this, I mean, as a creative, I
Yeah.
either pitched ad campaigns to or
Okay.
worked with. So
Mm.
it'd be like the EPA, Environmental Protection
Okay.
Agency. I mean, even Reebok. I mean,
Mm.
just a
Wow.
bunch of stuff. Sony.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
just a lot of stuff. So I was able, some people, it's great. They can just do packaging, right? They're just specifically packaging creatives, and that's
Mm.
awesome. But there are other creatives that are a little more Jack and Jill of all trades and can kind of work between industries because it's not about what you and I want to promote. It's about what's going to get the customer, which is going to turn into sales and which will also turn into brand loyalty and trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Love it.
important.
Love it. And also,
Mhm.
like any other, every successful brand has been like ongoing marketing challenges, right? Especially in the space, competitive space at pet industry. So what do you think, like, what has been the biggest marketing challenge with you for you right now?
I think just trying to cut through the noise, like I know I have a wonderful product that is,
Mm-hmm.
caters to various different, and doggos and stuff with digestive issues and whatnot. So I know that's going to speak for itself. So I just have to be strategic, kind of clearing a little path to say, these are Marcy's Pet Kitchen's colors. These are my brand. This is what
Mm-hmm.
we believe in. This is what we want to bring to you and your dog or dogs. You know what I mean? And doing that through images, through storytelling. Like I invest in two phenomenal people. My blogger, her name is Bobby, and my photographer is Mindy. And they're phenomenal. Their visions, when they write, when they take photography, all that again reinforces everything you're trying to
Wow.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean when I say investing in the right people.
Mm-hmm. Talking more about scaling and business growth, scaling a business from a home-based operation to widely recognized brand is no small feat, right? So, like, what strategies did you use to scale from a small kitchen operation to this recognized pet brand?
Let me see. Well, we took sleeping off the table. That wasn't there anymore. Um, I would have to say I just had to be more efficient with my time because if you cannot reach out to your Amazon subscribers and have them get your products in time, you go nowhere, right? If you can't get
Yeah.
them to your consumers via online or even
Mm,
sample to some social media influencers, you're kind of stuck. You
mm,
gotta
mm,
start to delegate or you
mm,
have to be a little more efficient to kind of fit
mm,
more in a day, if that makes
mm,
sense.
mm.
You
And
could
also, like,
delegate.
yeah.
Mhm.
Also, like, did you went through like finding an investor for your operation to scale?
I had there was a gen when I was working with another partner, um there was a gentleman that had reached out to me regarding my product.
Wow.
He wanted to introduce me to my partner now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. We're fine. And then finally, I was like, I think we need to take this in a bigger direction. And I reached out to him, and then that was it. And then it
Amazing.
all started.
So if somebody
Yeah.
is listening to this podcast and they have a pet brand, so what do you think? What are the steps to, find investors who are like
I
passionate
would
about their product and
say
scale?
I would say just be very clear with what you need because again, it's not always about just the financial backing, it's the know-how that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think. There's just a lot to it, you know? I mean, have your deck like ready to go, like a pitch deck. That
Mm-hmm.
may you may have to hire a creative for that. Just a visually pleasing ones to talk about, again, your company's mission, vision, your products, where you forecast it going based on what you've seen and things of that nature, and present that in a creative, fun, well, depending on your brand. If it's very serious, you want to keep it very straightforward and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a more fun brand, you can get a little more fun with the pictures and the product pictures and even in the pitch deck, I put together a branding page so people can see, potential investors could see what we're doing with the campaign. Like it's not just a company with, whatever SKUs, it's a brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand that I put together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Basically, network with the right people. The right.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes finagling, and my business partner once told me that my previous one that you can have a few business partners along the way, and it's just what's a good fit for you.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And also, getting into retail stores can be a huge milestone for pet brands. Like, what advice would you give to pet entrepreneurs looking to go get in their products into the retail stores?
Um, I would say, first of all, sit back and just make sure that you know your competition.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because when you know your competition, then you can figure out ways where you're different from them and why you should be the one that people should purchase over your competitors.
Mm,
Um, that's hugely important. Getting into stores is actually what I'm dealing with right now as we speak. I'm calling independent stores in certain regions,
mm,
and so
mm,
is my business partner. So it's great. You're just it's one day at a time. Like I'm looking for distribution, like a lot of us are. The
mm,
model
mm,
is quite different right now. It's basically direct to consumer. So it makes them a little apprehensive sometime taking on, I would imagine, some new brands. However, if there's tons of potential, just keep at it. Just keep at it and keep kind of doing plan B until you get that distributor. And even when you do get that distributor to take your product everywhere, you have to make sure that they're being educated about it because no one's going to be as passionate as you. And you can't be everywhere at once. So you have to
yeah.
give the tools to educate these
Mm,
stores and the owners and the staff so they're excited about it.
definitely. And like you said, distribution, just like distribution, manufacturing are some of the trickiest aspect of running a product-based business, right? So have you faced any challenges? You must have faced a lot of challenges in these areas too.
Yes,
So
I did one.
how do you handle them? Yeah.
Well, one especially, I remember when I started doing my treats, I would use unsweetened applesauce because the sugars are much lower. There's natural sugars in our
Mm,
treats.
mm,
But then obviously, I was thinking, I'm like, we can't use unsweetened applesauce as a binder. And I'm like,
mm,
that's not cool. I'm like, that's not good at all. And I'm thinking because you want to keep your recipe as close as possible. The one ingredient we added is I decided to use blackstrap molasses because you have to use like a molasses as a binder. So taking you back into my head,
mm,
I was looking up unsweetened molasses because there is such a thing as sugar-free molasses. And I looked into it and it has more preservatives.
mm,
Like this isn't gonna work. So I decided because we want to keep our treats all natural. There's no preservatives in them. And I'm thinking, let's do the lowest in glycemic. Let's do blackstrap molasses. It has so many healthy, good benefits to it, but at
mm,
the same time, it's not synthetic sugars and it's not, you know what I mean? Things that are going to upset the dog's stomach, and it's still very low in glycemic. So I was very happy with that
mm, mm. Okay.
decision.
Talking more about the entrepreneurship side and the lesson you have learned along the way. So if you could go back to the early days of settling your business, like what would you do differently than now?
I mean, I would have to say, I wish I had like another fellow creative with me to help me out because again, every entrepreneur knows you're manufacturing or you're doing it yourself and then you're
Mm,
doing the creative and you're
mm,
building out the social
mm,
media
mm.
plans. And I didn't want to take advantage of everyone and say, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" So, I did it myself, but again, I wish I had someone to kind of
Definitely,
delegate
yeah.
to, like an intern or someone even a little higher up, just to be like,
Mm-hmm.
"See, that looks good," or no, I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
it just saves you time.
Definitely. And being an entrepreneur, when you get started like solo, right? It's like you have to
Yes.
take care of your website, you have to take care of the product, you have to take care of the
Yes.
comments people are
Yes.
making, then you have to reply on it. It's
I
like
know. And then you're like, oh my God, I have kids. I have to make dinner. What? You're like, Mom, you don't put that much love into it anymore. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to all my kids.
basically you are the CEO, you are the co-founder, you are the person handling it.
Yeah.
You are everything, right? Like the starting,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now I can say my husband's the chef.
Wow,
So
amazing, amazing.
yeah,
Great.
but there's a lot of things, if you could go back, you would like to change things up a little bit, but that was one of them. Just having someone to bounce it off of, someone, business minded as well. It's very helpful, especially when I said like circling back that you doing your own stuff is extremely hard for anybody.
Definitely, definitely. And every entrepreneur experience unexpected wins. So those moments that make you step back and say like, wow, this is definitely really happening, right? So like what has been your surprising success or breakthrough moment in this journey?
I have to say, kind of circling back, but a few things. When I reached out to, was it Oprah's magazine
Wow.
up in New York, and I sent product, and I was so excited because I knew the chances would be very, very slim to see if she would support it. And
Yeah.
again, like nothing happened, but that's okay. That's
Mm,
okay. The
mm,
timing isn't right then. This is what I truly believe in. You can put forth the effort, you can make your contacts and connections, do everything you can. But if the puzzle pieces don't fit yet, it's not meant to happen yet. Don't push puzzle pieces that don't fit.
mm,
The energy flows a lot better and there's less obstacles in a sense if you just try not to force things like partnerships that don't fit or creative that doesn't fit, branding that doesn't fit, anything like that.
mm. All right. Talking more about the industry trends and the future outlook, the pet industry has evolved significantly, right, in the past few years. So have you
Absolutely.
noticed any major shift since you started Marcy's Pet Kitchen?
I've noticed a shift more in utilizing ingredients that are more like mine, which is it's nice to see that because then
Mm,
there's people
mm,
that are very passionate about getting really good quality product out.
mm,
Obviously, jerky is still a big thing. Dehydrated meats, even secondary pieces like tracheas and in for animals and dehydrated parts and such. I did notice there was a complete uptick in the cat market, which was kind of cool to see because I felt personally that the cats were underserved, just like diabetic dogs. And I felt that when I went to the pet expo at Global recently, they had so many cat products that coming around, and it was refreshing to see that because some of their packaging is like completely fun and 19. I remember one was like a 1950s look. It was cool.
exactly. Mm,
Really enjoyed it. But I was a little surprised to see I didn't see too much innovation with the dog stuff. I feel like people are trying to one up each other when in fact, if they just go back to their brand and really think about what they're about, I
mm,
think it's a little more natural to have these little epiphanies of new ideas because again, the energy flows a certain way. You're not pushing it, you're just kind of letting it happen. And so I have a bunch of ideas, but I can't talk about them, but I do have a bunch of ideas and they're not so. So you know that
Got
means
it.
I got to tackle it then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it, got it.
Yeah.
And also many successful brand use their platform to make a difference. And Marcy's
Yes.
Pet Kitchen is definitely not an exception. So a portion of your proceed goes to the Breezy Foundation.
Yep.
Like
Onyx and
why?
Breezy and
Yeah.
other foundations for cats, dogs, and horses because I just
Wow.
love animals.
Amazing, amazing. So why was like giving back an important part of your brand?
Well, I mean, for obvious reasons in my mind, we can't help all the dogs out there, but we can mean something. Our company stands for something, and the people that are working in this company, um, very, we're very genuine and very transparent. All right. So we want to be able to give back, to dogs, some people give back to dogs like, seeing dogs, you know what I mean? Some people give back to anxiety, the dogs that help with the anxiety and
Yeah,
PTSD.
yeah.
I think there's no bad charities, really. I mean, you can really give to any of these charities and make a difference. I like to give locally too around here, like raining cats and dogs. I
Wow.
actually have a bunch of stuff I need to send out still too, sitting back over there. So
Hmm.
yeah, I just think it's very important. It's like brings a sense of community and people know, and people are putting in time at these shelters to take care of these dogs. They grow attachments to them. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
to acknowledge them and what they do is really important,
Hmm.
And if you can provide something that keeps them going, like healthy treats, not sugary treats, or, I saw one company used an ingredient that was super high in sugar. And I was like, oh, that at first I was thinking, I'm like, oh, this company, they're kind of doing what I'm doing. Yay. But then I saw they were using sugar. So making sure you don't have product that's juxtaposed to what you're supposed to be putting out. So
Definitely, definitely. And do you think that doing the charity work and everything, do you think that it has impacted your business in a way?
I'm
Like
sorry,
in
say
terms
that
of
again just because it broke up.
like, do you think like doing the charity and everything, right? Do you think that it has impacted your business in a way
um
in terms of sales and like revenue? People see like you're doing all this stuff and like,
Yes,
mm,
yes, but I think I do think it's important and I do think they see it. I don't think that is their 100% main focus because obviously if they're purchasing a treat, they have a lot of expectations they want, right? They want to make
mm,
sure it's be allergen friendly or
yeah.
low glycemic or what have you. And I definitely think that that can make a difference for people for sure. I mean, everyone wants to know. I would like to think that everyone I give to somehow gives back to charity. And I know that's not the case, but knowing someone does, it's just a benefit. It's a positive benefit for me, for the dogs, for the owners of these facilities,
Mm,
and the more, again, you co-collaborate
yeah.
and push nonprofits even on your Instagram and on your social
Yeah.
media. I mean, it
Yeah.
just gets the awareness out there. So if
Mm,
anyone
mm,
else is thinking of doing whatever or cares enough, they
mm,
will,
mm.
donate or yeah.
Love it. Love it. Last question from my end, Marcy. For
Sure.
pet entrepreneurs just getting started, the path to success can feel overwhelming, right? So, like, what's your number one advice, piece of advice that those looking to break into the pet industry?
Just stay incredibly encouraged. Make sure you know your competitors because that can make or break you. That
Mm,
could also, on a positive side, give you a way to come up with a new story for yourself to make your brand stick out even better. So knowing your competition is huge,
mm,
knowing your mission and your vision are huge. So everything stays consistent and connected and be very consistent with your social media. I
yeah.
mean, everyone misses every now and then when you're a smaller company, it happens. When I was at Pet Expo, I didn't post for like 3 days and I felt awful, but you can only do what you could do. Just do the best you can
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
and
Well,
hire some creatives if you're in a crux and don't know how to handle something branding
mm,
related.
definitely. Definitely. Well, that was an insightful conversation, Marcy. Thank you so much for joining us today and
I
sharing
think we should have
incredible.
a talk show.
Definitely. Yeah. What should we name it?
I'm trying to think. Oh my God. I don't
Marcy's
know.
dog talk.
Marcy's crazy dog talk.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And for everyone listening, if you want to learn more about Marcy's Pet Kitchen, check out their website and follow them on social media. I will leave all the links in the description below.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much, Marcy, once again.
No,
And if you
absolutely. I had
enjoyed,
so much fun with you.
it was fun. Yeah, it didn't feel like I was interviewing you.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
For
and
sure.
uh, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to Pet Brand Podcast, leave us a review, and share this episode with fellow pet lovers and entrepreneurs. Well, yeah, see you in the next episode. Great. That's it. That's the end of the podcast.